So Cancers, how you doing? This is your reading for the week of May 3rd, or when you hear it and it resonates. And this, of course, is going to be for a group of the collective, not for all of you. But for those of you for whom it resonates, the song that I have for you today is Counting Stars by One Republic. And it is a very, very upbeat song. And I really encourage you to look at all of the lyrics because I won't go through them all. But the first paragraph of it is, lately I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. And as you go through the lyrics and you read them more carefully, what you see this song is about is it's about challenging the things that we're told are right because they don't make us feel alive, and challenging the things that have become the status quo, that when you challenge them, that's when you feel alive. And I feel like that's really the message for you, and it's very consistent with the growth I've seen over the period of time that I've been doing the readings for you, is that you have really found your sense of power, and you have really been able to move away from taking the criticisms of your changing quite so personally. And, you know, this is a big thing for people who tend to be the ones who are the caretakers. It's you know, people become caretakers and people of service because they believe in it, because they are generally oriented that way. However much it's become distorted or exaggerated because of different situations, whether it has turned into codependency or not, there is an inherent nature of goodliness, kindness, wanting to care for and take care of. And so when we challenge the way in which that's done, the people around who have been benefiting from that overly can get a little bit irritated. So you're learning how not to take that personally, and you're moving out of it, and you're tending now to spend less time in trying to, figure it out or naming the offense, and you're more and more moving into that sense of compassion and just being curious about it and wondering because you're not taking it personally. Now, where I see this moving for you, Cancer, is play. I see play, which is something that it can seem silly, it can seem immature, but actually it's a very light energy, in its purest form, when it's not sarcastic and mean, it is a very light-hearted energy, which is very much about risking not doing what's normal. Are you going to break out in song in the middle of a grocery store because you feel like it? Or are you going to restrict yourself because it's not socially polite and, it's the people might look at you funny? Well, heck, break out in song, play. And remember that as you're doing this, that when you are in a playful attitude, you're in a playful attitude with the world around you. That's when you start opening up and seeing synchronicities, and you see that lightness in other people. It becomes a spark that lights other people too. Typically speaking, the most interesting people are the ones who are a little bit left of center. And I'm not talking politically, I'm talking who are not really following all the social rules. I'm not talking about the moral rules too, the ones we know are inherently good. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie, don't hurt. Those things, of course, those are good. And you can still do that and challenge what society says you should be doing. 9 to 5, RSPs, getting your bank account in a certain amount, blah, 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 finishing this degree, doing that. Like so many of the old systems that certainly my generation and before, or even just shortly after, were raised with, was very much about trying to gear people into conforming into what society would reward them for, whether it was through paycheck or, respectability. Didn't matter. There was that tendency to feel as though if you didn't do those things, if you didn't follow that path, oh my God, chaos would reign. Well, guess what? Sometimes it just meant liberation and a whole new way of seeing things. And that tends to be the people who are the most interesting, the most curious. And when it is done with a good heart and with not just with a good heart, but with a sense of innocence and honesty, it tends to be very rewarded with affection, with appreciation, because that there's something inherent in all of us that as much as we fear our survival depends upon social connectivity and all of that, all of the money and following the systems that society says we should follow, we all have at some level a desire to rebel and a desire to be individuals. I believe that's part of our DNA. And so, don't quote me, it's not a scientific journal here, but I believe that that's really a big part of what is the most interesting, the mysterious, the fun, the quirky. You, my dears, are being told to try, at this point in your life now, you've done so much work to let go of that other stuff, to allow yourself to see yourself in new light and take on new things. Take on a new image of yourself in order to be able to experience the world differently. What you're being told is there are angels everywhere. You are being told, you know what? When you move in that energy, you're going to connect. You're going to connect synchronistically. You're going to see angels coming out of the woodwork in one way or another. Those that will help you on your path as you stay in that energy. And it's time, take a break. Take a break from trying to fix yourself, from trying to make everything better for yourself, not for yourself, in yourself. Really just take a break from trying to make yourself better or best, and just relish the idea that you are challenging the status quo in your own way. You're doing it. You are being the rebel. And where do you want to go with that? Because it opens up the world in a very different way. I really encourage you to listen to One Republic, Counting Stars. Look at the words and feel the energy, okay? I'm going to leave you with that, Cancer. I feel like this is really Spirit giving you a thumbs up, a great thumbs up to move forward into that beautiful, beautiful play and enjoyment of life beyond the rules that have said this is what will keep you alive and safe. Because this is what we want you to do, because this is how you make money in my products and keep everything going and, the machine. Okay? That's it, Cancers. Take care.